In the year 1776, a momentous event shook the world. It was a time of great upheaval and change, a period that would be remembered for centuries to come. 13 colonies in North America dared to declare their independence from Great Britain, the most powerful empire of its time. This bold declaration was not just a statement, it was a challenge to the established order. This audacious act ignited a fierce conflict known as the American Revolution, a struggle for freedom that would forever alter the course of history. Battles raged across the land, from the fields of Lexington to the heights of Bunker Hill. Imagine a world where kings and queens ruled with absolute authority, where colonies existed solely to enrich their mother country. The British Crown saw the colonies as mere extensions of its power, sources of wealth and resources. This was the world of the 18th century, and the American colonies were growing increasingly restless under British rule. The heavy taxes, the lack of representation, and the oppressive laws fueled their desire for change. The colonists, proud and independent people, yearned for the right to govern themselves. They gathered in town halls, discussed their grievances, and dreamed of a future where they could shape their own destiny. They believed in the principles of liberty and self-determination, ideals that would set them on a collision course with the British Crown. The Declaration of Independence was more than a document. It was a manifesto of their hopes and dreams, a bold proclamation that they would no longer be subjects but citizens of a new nation. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. The road to revolution was paved with grievances and resentment. The seeds of discontent were sown early, as the American colonists began to feel the weight of British rule more acutely. The British government, burdened by the costs of its vast empire, imposed a series of taxes on the American colonies. These taxes were seen as a way to recoup the expenses incurred during the 7 Years' War, a conflict that had drained the British treasury. The colonists, however, cried foul, arguing that they had no representation in the British Parliament and therefore no say in the taxes levied upon them. This lack of representation was not just a political issue, but a fundamental question of their rights as Englishmen. No taxation without representation became their rallying cry. This slogan encapsulated their demand for a voice in the legislative process that affected their daily lives and economic well-being. Tensions escalated further with the enactment of the Stamp Act in 1765, which required colonists to pay a tax on all printed materials. This act was particularly galling because it affected a wide range of people, from merchants to lawyers to everyday citizens. This act, widely seen as an infringement on colonial liberties, sparked widespread protests and boycotts of British goods. The colonists organized themselves into groups like the Sons of Liberty, who led the charge against what they saw as oppressive measures. The Boston Tea Party of 1773, a dramatic act of defiance in which colonists dumped British tea into Boston Harbor, brought the colonies and Great Britain closer to the brink of war. This bold action was a direct response to the Tea Act, which many colonists viewed as another example of taxation tyranny. The British government responded with a series of harsh measures known as the Intolerable Acts, which further inflamed colonial resistance. These acts included closing Boston Harbor and revoking Massachusetts' charter, actions that united the colonies in their struggle against British rule. On July 4, 1776, the Continental Congress, representing the 13 colonies, took the momentous step of declaring independence from Great Britain. This decision was not made lightly, as it marked the beginning of a new era and the birth of a nation. The Declaration of Independence, penned by Thomas Jefferson, proclaimed to the world that these united colonies were now free and independent states. Jefferson's eloquent words captured the spirit of the time, reflecting the colonies' desire for freedom and self-governance. This bold declaration was not merely a list of grievances, but a profound statement of the American belief in natural rights and the right of revolution. It was a document that resonated deeply with the colonists, inspiring them to fight for their newfound freedom. It asserted that all men are created equal and endowed with certain unalienable rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These principles became the foundation of American democracy and continue to influence the nation's values and laws. The signing of the Declaration of Independence was an act of defiance that ignited a firestorm of resistance throughout the colonies. It was a courageous move that united the colonists in their struggle against British tyranny. The American Revolution had begun. The colonies, fueled by the unyielding spirit of '76, embarked on a challenging journey to secure their independence and establish a nation built on the ideals of liberty and justice for all.